Good evening and welcome to Addition Financial Arena on the campus of the University of Central Florida as we get set for what should be a really fun matchup as Pro Volleyball Federation play continues live from the Sunshine State. Alongside the Beach Volleyball All-American at Florida State, Madison Fitzpatrick, I'm Sean Davison. Thank you for hopping along and joining us on what should be a wild ride tonight between the Atlanta Vibe checking in at 6-7 and the Orlando Valkyries on the strength of 7 consecutive wins, checking in at 9-4 and now as the top team in the Pro Volleyball Federation. Madison, there's a lot that I've already said in dissecting where each of these two teams are. Atlanta was the preseason #1 team. Orlando has become the #1 team. The Valks 7 in a row. Atlanta was 2-5 in the month of February. It feels like this is a match they both desperately want and Atlanta desperately needs.
Exactly. Atlanta Vibe is coming off of 2 losses, a 1-3 loss to Indy and then an 0-3 loss to Columbus. So the Vibe needs this win to get back on track. For the Valkyries, if they take this win, that's 8 in a row, and that's a PVF record.
It certainly is. Atlanta has a 7-match win streak from a season ago that the Valkyries, as you mentioned, Madison, have just recently tied. As you dissect this matchup between these two teams who were picked both actually at the top of the league in the preseason poll, who is going to have to step up and have a big performance tonight for either side to get the job done?
Well, for the Valkyries, I'll tell you someone that always makes an impact. It's Brittany Abercrombie, and I've got to talk about her because her last performance against Omaha was absolutely electric. 24 kills, 0 errors, hit over 500. She broke a PVF record for most kills in a 3-setter. So watch out for Brittany Abercrombie on that right side. Now for Atlanta, also look to the opposite position in Merritt Beeson. The last time these two teams played, Merritt Beeson didn't play the whole time. She only had 1 kill. She hit in the negative. So in order for the Vibe to get the win this time, they're going to need production out of her and that right side position.
Should be a lot of fun to watch between these two teams. And you're right, Madison. Each of these teams, the balance is going to be important. Atlanta's trying to shuffle the lineup and figure out the right combination that fits.
Exactly. And it takes time to have chemistry and to get things going, but the Atlanta Vibe has so many talented components, so many key pieces. Another key piece that's going to need to step up is Pia Timmer on that outside position. Leah Edmond led her team in kills last time these two teams played. She got 10, but they need another outside to step up and produce at that high of a volume if they're going to take down a team as talented as the Valkyries.
Yeah, Orlando has been on a tear for some time, and they continue to add players to the mix. Courtney Schwann has gotten hot. Kaz Brown got going in the Valks last match in Omaha, taking down the reigning PVF champions for the 2nd time this season in straight sets. We'll quickly introduce you to the starting lineups for the visiting Atlanta Vibe. Merritt Beeson, Pia Timmer, McKenna Bacchini, Leah Edmond, Marley Monserrat, Corey Lewis, and Morgan Hentz, the libero. Meanwhile for Orlando, Shampoo Goodpart, Courtney Schwann, Brittany Abercrombie, Kaz Brown, Natalie Foster, Adora Anai, and Georgia Murphy, the libero. We are underway from Central Florida. That's a great first ball from Courtney Schwann, an immediate side out. Orlando will feed Brittany Abercrombie off the right time and time again. And for folks who aren't familiar with seeing teams run that right side attack as often, it is really a treat to watch.
And she's first in kills in the league and first in points as an opposite. I mean, that's incredible.
Illegal back row contact above the level of the net by Atlanta, called against Marley Monserrat on the set attempt. So that's a 2nd point to Orlando as we get underway. Landry Homscher, the R1, whistling the Vibe for that violation. Leah Edmond on the attack, the reigning Pro Volleyball Federation player and outside hitter of the year.
Watch the Valkyries serve Leah Edmond. Target her in serve receive because they're trying to take her offense out of the game, but Leah Edmond is so solid at transitioning to get the kill after passing that ball.
You consider all that Leah Edmond can do, number 13 in black for Atlanta. The way she can serve, the way she can swing, the way she can block. We've got the top 2 point scorers in the Pro Volleyball Federation between Brittany Abercrombie, number 6 in blue for Orlando, and again, number 13 in black for Atlanta. Adora Anai back to serve. Out of the middle, there's Corey Lewis, the youngster out of Florida State, who, if you ask a lot of folks around volleyball, Madison, including one of her assistant coaches on the Norseca Final 16, who is in the Pro Volleyball Federation, Taiba Hanif Park. She said she's a unicorn. She didn't come up in the USA system, but she is going to make a name for herself.
And she got confidence from playing in that USA gym this past season, and that confidence has taken her game to the next level.
Already was a tremendous player with respect to her career at Florida State. All ACC year in, year out, All-American honors the last two, as we take a look at the last point from Natalie Foster, who was an All-ACC player. Natalie
Foster is second in the league in hitting efficiency, and Corey Lewis is first. So we have a battle of the efficient middles.
And that is an ace serve for Orlando. Natalie Foster, who leads the league in aces, and Leah Edmond is second. We're going to hear that a lot of first and seconds tonight. Foster is creeping up on Bethania Dela Cruz's 32 aces a season ago, and with that one there, she is at 30. Dela Cruz led the Pro Volleyball Federation after an entire season at that mark, and so far we are not even halfway in. This will be the halfway point for each of these teams tonight, Mads.
And it's a hybrid serve too. It's very difficult to pass. It's moving, it's floating, it's coming with speed, and there was 3 in a row. Make it 31 for the rookie.
Would not be surprised if we get a quick timeout from Atlanta. And in fact, Kayla Banwarth has elected to do so. On the strength of 3 aces, Orlando opens up a 5-point lead here at Edition Financial Arena. Wow. Service pressure, service pressure, service pressure.
That was my key to this game, service pressure. Both of these teams, when in system, are extremely offensive, extremely efficient. When they run through their middles, like we said before, they have the 1 and the 2 most efficient middles in the league. So service pressure is key. The Valkyries have that with Natalie Foster.
And also, too, Madison, how important is that confidence that Orlando is riding in here on? I can only imagine that, sure, you know what you're doing when you make it to this level, but when you win at this level at the rate that they're doing, it has to be even more of a boost.
And it's not like they're getting by. It's not like they're taking these wins narrowly in 5 sets. I mean, they have 3 sweeps in a row. Coming off of their win against Omaha, they hit 342. They had 8 aces in that match. So not only is it confidence from winning, but it's also confidence from absolutely dominating.
Yeah, for context's sake, folks, if you haven't been watching a whole lot of the Pro Volleyball Federation, in the month of February, every team in the league lost at least twice. If you're not Orlando. Orlando didn't lose at all. Madison, they only lost 2 sets.
Like I said, domination in the month of February.
It's an important up there by Atlanta, but the rally continues with Schwann. Edmond on the attack, and that's an attack error. Nothing but net. And another point to the Vouks.
The timing for that approach was a little off. First of all, great dig, great up by Shampoo. A little casual pancake. And then it looks like she jumped a little too early. That set was high, and so the timing of her approach wasn't right.
Suffice it to say, an extended service run for Natalie Foster, number 13 for Orlando. Morgan Hentz flew in from absolutely nowhere to keep that ball up. Schwann rejected.
This is going to be an interesting matchup with Brittany Abercrombie. She loves that little tip over the block. Morgan Hentz is as good as they come as a libero. 3-time national champion at Stanford, Team USA experience. She leads the league in digs by a landslide. I don't think Morgan Hentz is going to let that tip go down.
How about the setter, too? Marley Monserrat, who played her college volleyball at the University of Florida, with the rejection of Courtney Schwann. Backside, Abercrombie went cross and put it down in a hurry.
The setter-hitter relationship between Shampoo and Abercrombie is on. It's firing on all cylinders. She hangs that set a little inside, and Abercrombie with that left hand is able to use and abuse the block, swing around it, swing over it, whatever she pleases.
2 players who have cut their teeth in international volleyball. There's a big block for Orlando. Kaz Brown asserting herself. And we're just calling out new name after new name after new name early, Mads. This is what makes this so much fun. Everybody's doing something.
It's the balance in each of these positions. They're so strong in every position. There's not many weaknesses.
Pin to pin. Monserrat feeding Timmer.
I like that quick set to Timmer. Nice tempo set. Timmer can use all of that momentum in her approach to drive through the ball and through the block.
Pia Timmer, who's dealt with some injury issues this year, missed a few matches, was on IR, is back and has been back in a big way, has been a nice offensive boost here of late, and that is a smart shot by the Vouks. Holy
power tip by Kaz Brown. Thank you, Bold 6. That's a beautiful spot, painting that sideline. Kaz Brown is coming off of 9 kills, hitting .562, so she's on a bit of a roll right now.
Timmer off speed. Smart shot by Pia.
I spoke with Coach Kayla Banworth a couple weeks ago, and she said one of the perks of Pia Timmer having her up there is the amount of shots that she has. She's really rangy, and she pulls out those shots at the right time, right there showing us her craftiness.
5-time All Pac-12 at Washington State. Pia Timmer, number 7. And I snuck it inside the block. Free ball coming to the Vouks. Off one foot, there's Kaz Brown.
And it is hard to put the ball away against Morgan Hens, but Kaz Brown has such manipulation over where this ball goes, weaving it straight down the line, feeling that block moving, not being set, and then just driving it down the line, thumb down.
Montserrat reverses the flow. Merritt Beeson started her career at the University of Florida, finished it up with the Nebraska Cornhuskers, the number 1 overall pick in the Pro Volleyball Federation draft, and that swing puts her on the board.
And I said it in the open, the last time these two teams played, she only played a little bit, 1 kill hit in the negative, so production from her is necessary.
And there's an ace back the other way for Pia Timmer. These are the top 2 teams in terms of service pressure, Madison.
Exactly, so this is why it's so much fun to watch. We had 3 aces from Natalie Foster, 1 from Pia Timmer. They're gonna go back and forth like this.
Make it 2 aces for Pia Timmer.
That serve dropped really short and quickly. The opposing service seed line was not ready for it. You gotta take that first step really quickly in order to get your platform underneath it on a serve like that.
In addition to the 5 All-Pac titles, tops in Washington State history in aces with 152, Timmer. And that is a big swing off the right side for Brittany Abercrombie, getting Timmer off the service line.
Brittany Abercrombie is going to hit every single area of the court. I can say that confidently because historically, game in and game out, she is just painting those sidelines right there, going in between areas 6 and 5.
Edmond, smart swing, off hands and out.
Coach Kayla Banworth told me a couple weeks ago that Leah Edmond is wired differently. She will do whatever it takes to win and get the W, and right there with all of that power, driving it through the block.
She has 10 or more kills in 12 of 13 matches this season. And the one match where she didn't hit that 10 mark is the only one in her career in the Pro Volleyball Federation where she hasn't hit double digits. Natalie Foster goes off speed. That's good enough for her to get another kill. Excuse me.
The composure from Natalie Foster is so impressive as just a rookie. She's one of the youngest in the league, but to take the initiative to go back over with that on 1 with the tip, very smart.
Just 15 errors for Natalie Foster. She's taken a bunch of swings, hitting .385. Abercrombie turned back by Edmond. Schwann over the block, picked up by Montserrat. Out of system ball coming for Leah Edmond, and she puts it down inside the end line.
That was a beautiful out of system set by Morgan Hens, just putting it right up, nice and tight, not too far off, and then Leah Edmond had to be patient on her approach and drove it nice and high over the block. Great swing by her.
What impresses you most about Morgan Hens?
Oh my gosh, it's everything. It's the intangibles, it's the drive, it's the work ethic, and then it's also, yes, she makes the flashy digs and she does all of the crazy, amazing plays, but she also takes care of all the little things. She's got a nice, clean second contact. Her serve receive is solid. So everything about her is just elite. I can say the word elite with her all the time because it's true.
And it's a word that certainly fits. And here goes Natalie Foster back to serve, where she has proven she is at the very least elite in that facet of the game. That's a free ball back to Orlando. Abercrombie dug by Timmer. Beeson with the roll. Abercrombie beat the block, dug out by Lewis. Shove from Hens. Corey Lewis out of the middle. Just about everybody's touched the ball in this rally. Monserrat, what a smart decision. The setter always a weapon up in the front row, and Marley Monserrat calls her own number.
That's what makes her so good. She takes the initiative, feels that campfire, and with all of that power and offensive mind, she puts down.
What a swing by Kaz Brown. She's off to some kind of start. 4 kills for Kaz already in this opening set. And Orlando off to a fast and furious start at Addition Financial Arena. Leads by 5 at the midway media timeout. Back underway here in Orlando, Florida. Brittany Abercrombie serves it in. Pia Timmer sides it out. Number 7 for Atlanta.
The Atlanta Vibe needed that side out. With the Valkyries, you cannot let them get too much of a lead because when one area of their game heats up, the rest of it heats up as well.
Speaking of heating up, Kaz Brown certainly has. Nice pickup by Beeson. And Leah Edmond off the back row puts that ball away.
Mara Beeson is such a solid 6 rotation player all the way around. She makes a quick twitch dig, she makes some flashy plays, and then offensively she's just as strong.
A find by Marley Monserrat, running the bick. And Kaz Brown. Boy, I like this, Madison. It's not often that we've seen Kaz Brown pace Orlando offensively. We felt that she's been gaining traction, but it has certainly been a benefit to the Valkyries that they've been able to run the middle as much as they have in set 1.
Absolutely, 4 kills on 5 attempts, hitting well over 750. I mean, that's as good of a start as you can have as a middle.
Kaz Brown helping to lead the charge. Orlando leads by 3. Atlanta has weathered the storm, though. It could have gone even more sideways than it did on that Natalie Foster service run. Adora Anai just punished that volleyball straight down.
I would venture to say the Valkyries are the most offensively balanced team in the league. They lead the league in hitting efficiency, kills, assists, points, and it's because they are so balanced.
Yeah, anything offensive, they lead in it. Good second ball there by Schwann. Opportunity here for the Vibe. That's tight. Wilson recycles off the block. Strong hands at the net for Merritt Beeson.
Champu did a good job in setting up Adora Anai for a one-on-one situation. Natalie Foster held the middle with her, but Merritt Beeson is such a solid reader. She saw that swing going angle. She dove her arms into that seam.
Lead back down to 3. Timmer has done a nice job in the back row. She has dug Abercrombie quite a bit. Edmond off speed. Out of system and I. Again, Edmond off speed. And Abercrombie picks it up, and Natalie Foster puts it down.
This is some fantastic volleyball. Are you not entertained? Going back and forth this much with the defense is this good. I love the decision there to set Natalie Foster, the second most efficient attacker in the league. She knows how to put the ball away.
Back and forth we go. Reversing the flow, Beeson stuffed. Natalie Foster got the kill, got the block. Timeout by the Vibe. Orlando enters the red zone here in set one, the final 5 points of a particular set. A reminder that first to 25 win by 2 to claim sets 1, 2, 3, and if we get there 4. If we do have to go to a fifth, it's first to 15 win by 2, best 3 out of 5 to claim the match.
Taking a look at the stats here, what's impressing me right now is the amount of times that the Valkyries have run through their middles effectively. Kaz Brown has 4 kills on 5 attempts, hitting 800. Natalie Foster, 4 kills, 5 attempts, no errors, 800 as well. Both of those 2 middles are leading the team in kills right now. Brittany Abercrombie is next with 3. So I love the decision-making by Champu early and often to go to those middles.
Madison, just to follow on that thought, when Brittany Abercrombie lights up Omaha and lights up everybody the way she has to be priority number 1 on every scouting report. She's going to draw that extra blocker. How important is it that Orlando has found success in the middle to maybe pull some of that pressure off of her and maybe open her up for even some better looks moving forward?
Of the utmost importance. The balance of the Valkyries is so incredibly important for Brittany Abercrombie's success, for the middle success. You're keeping the block on their toes. They don't know who you're going to go to. You cannot cheat at all. You have to stand your ground, hold, and then make your move. So they're really difficult team to block. And I know Brittany Abercrombie really appreciates some of those one-on-one situations she gets from those middles.
And for Brittany Abercrombie's standards, particularly of late, it's a slow start, but she's still 3 of 8 hitting 375 in the first set. So Orlando has facilitated and benefited quite nicely here in this first set. And they have manned the net very well as well. They're not one of the better blocking teams, Madison. They get a lot of quality block touches. They just don't put balls down that often with their block. In fact, they're 7th in the league, but they have several here in this first set.
And they outblock the Vibe usually historically when they've played this season. Last time these two teams played, Orlando had 9 blocks to Atlanta's 3.
Beeson this time goes to work with the off speed. Has been rejected by the block a couple of times. Smart decision this time to roll it over the top. Aiko Jones will check in to serve. Each team gets 8 substitutions in the Pro Volleyball Federation, so not the 15 sub system in college, not the 6 sub system in international volleyball. It's a nice in-between, as Aiko Jones, the tremendous product out of the University of Louisville, also on the Jamaican national team, checks in for the first time today. Schwann off speed from the back. Misconnection by Orlando, and they'll pay the price.
Leah Edmond is unreal. What a save by her. I thought that ball was going to go down, but no, she's got a great read on the ball. She's really fast. She wants to win, laying her body out to get that ding.
Conrad, the Towel King, does Conrad things, making sure the Terraflex is nice and safe. I mentioned Aiko Jones, though. 5 times All-ACC, 4 Elite Eights, 3 Final Fours, a national runner-up run with U of L under Danny Busboom Kelly, who is going to take the helm for Merritt Beeson's alma mater, Nebraska. Great work there defensively by Champu Goodpart. Out of system to an eye dug up by Jones. Here is Beeson off speed over the top. What a swing by Brittany Abercrombie. The connection wasn't perfect, but that footwork was impressive.
And watch, Champu got a little tangled up there, but she still turned, face Brittany Abercrombie, which usually when you're setting the right side, you're going to do a back set, but there she got a little turned around, so she had to face Brittany. And with that block there and set and up, Brittany Abercrombie is still able to power it through.
Abercrombie, the Athletes Unlimited champion, and when you look at her numbers from that league earlier this, actually it wasn't earlier this year, it was late last year in the fall, compared to where they're at right now, in many ways actually exceeding that clip so far in the Pro Volleyball Federation. I'll come back to that thought here in a little bit. I know we're coming up on the end of the set, but it's just real interesting stuff to see how she has maintained that level of volleyball as long as she has. Orlando's 2 points away from the first set. Schwann on the run, puts that ball away. Nice out-of-system ball.
Courtney Schwann is very tactical. She's very smart, super intelligent as an attacker. Pia Timmer was there. That is one of those plays that you're kind of kicking yourself. She read it. She was running down the line. She read that tip, but she wasn't able to control it.
A handful of set points for the homestanding Valks, who aside from 2 matches this season have won the first set every single time. Off speed by Edmond. Garcia sets the out-of-system, and Abercrombie will get the final say in set number 1.
I like the fact that the Valkyries are targeting Leah Edmond. They're not able to really set up that well for offensive power. Brittany Abercrombie just finishing the play in the way that she does. She's phenomenal.
She's phenomenal. Orlando has been phenomenal, particularly of late, and they continue to roll in set 1 over Atlanta, winning it 25-17.
Professional volleyball is back in Orlando. Support your Orlando Valkyries. Enjoy family fun, excitement, and professional volleyball at its best with the Orlando Valkyries. It's good, clean fun. Visit OrlandoValkyries.com. That's OrlandoValkyries.com. Orlando Valkyries Pro Volleyball. You've got to be there.
Why should you get tickets to see the Atlanta Vibe?
There's no whining to the refs like a little crybaby.
There's no falling down and acting like you have a life-threatening injury. Everyone knows you're faking, dude.
They're super nice, unless you're on the other team. Then they're gonna kick your
There's no boring 0-0 ties. They score like constantly.
Yeah, we're really tight.
Get your tickets today at atlantavibe.com.
From your favorite athletes to your favorite music, listen to everything you love and so much more with the free iHeartRadio app. From live play-by-play to your favorite game day anthems and the biggest sports podcasts in the world, the iHeartRadio app lets you take it all with you and stay connected to your favorite team wherever you go. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
When I hear it coming up like that, I just know that things are gonna end bad. La 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 la, I'll just keep dropping it, like there's no stopping it. Then walk with it. La 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 la, I'll just keep dropping it, like there's no stopping it. Then walk with it. La 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 la.
Pro Volleyball Federation Season 2. Tickets available now.
back here at Edition Financial Arena on the campus of the University of Central Florida. Orlando rolling through set one over Atlanta, winning at 25-17. So now the teams will switch sides as we get set to start set number two. It'll be Atlanta on the left, serving to your right on the screen. Orlando operating from the right to the left. Sean Davison, Madison Fitzpatrick, our entire crew on hand here as the preseason number one takes on the current number one in the Pro Volleyball Federation. Merritt Beeson on the cross, found the sideline.
That's a beautiful swing by Merritt Beeson. She's got a nice, strong approach. She's very explosive. Look at that bolt six, capturing that, just painting that sideline. But it's through that explosive approach that she's able to have so much success.
No need for lines judges in the Pro Volleyball Federation. Bolt six will take care of all of that, determining in versus out. Foster off the block. An eye. No doubt about that one.
Adora Anai's got that 4-4 swing on lock. That's one of her favorites area to attack from. That set hanging a little inside. The block set up a little bit too much on that line, and Adora Anai hit that 4-4, made them pay.
Second kill of the match for number 14 in that light blue for Orlando. Beeson off speed, did not catch hands. That's out, point to the Valkyries.
The Atlanta Vibe did not play poorly in that first set, but the Valkyries hit 342. Both of their middles hit 800. Abercrombie hit 500. So when you're playing a team that is that efficient, it's really difficult to get the win. The Vibe needs to start fast here.
Monserrat pulled beyond that 3-meter line to run the offense. Every so often you can understand it, but that will make for a long night if that becomes a trend. Brittany Abercrombie, that has been a trend this year. Shampoo back to serve. Once again serves Timmer. Hence has to set the out of system to Beeson. It's a good swing by Merritt Beeson, blowing up the block for another kill.
And that's really all she could do in that situation. High set, the block was set and there and pressed, but the block didn't have their palms turned into the court, allowing for that tool to take place.
Beeson coming into tonight averaging just shy of 3 kills per set in her rookie season in the Pro Volleyball Federation. Off speed, Brittany Abercrombie. Showing you the full repertoire, Madison.
Exactly. At this point, we read each other's minds. I was just about to say that. Showing us all of her range. She's going to drive a couple deep to that 6-5 area, drop a couple short, tool the block, swinging high every time. I mean, the efficiency from her in that opposite position is incredible.
With her latest kill, Orlando steps back out to a 2-point lead. Once again, Monserrat pulled back to that 3-meter line. The defense there by Anai, who got jammed up, and Courtney Schwann gets it off the top of the block and down.
Shampoo set that ball from so far off the net. First of all, good dig. Adora Anai lined up perfectly. The block was not closed. Adora Anai got into that seam, dug it up. Shampoo with a beautiful set. She really had to get her body behind that to push that set all the way to the pin. And Courtney Schwann to finish.
That'll get Amy Pauley excited, the head coach of the Vox and the Diggs leader at the University of Alabama. Timmer flies in to pick that up. And Lewis, I think, tried to recycle that ball off the block, Madison, but she didn't get it offhand. She hit the top of the tape. That would have been 4 contacts.
And I think it's worth mentioning the Atlanta Vibe kind of goes back and forth between Marley Monserrat and Mia Tuaninga. And right now the connection between Corey Lewis and Monserrat doesn't feel as solid, maybe because the setter position has been mixed up a little bit.
Wanted up there by Yosia. On the run, there she is again. Good cover by Anai. There's Lewis out of the middle. Shampoo tracks it down. Abercrombie got it over. Timmer dug by Anai. Abercrombie deserved every bit of that.
And Amy Pauley, the head coach for the Valkyries, literally fell to her knees to celebrate after that play. Incredible. It helps that Abercrombie has such long arms, but that's that never say die kind of mentality from the Valkyries.
A 5-point lead for Orlando early in set 2, and just like in set 1, Madison, a quick timeout by the Vibe.
And you have to call a timeout there. I mean, the Valkyries have all of the momentum. It's obvious that there's a home court advantage as well. This place is packed, and also it's packed with a bunch of little girls who play club volleyball, so the screams are very loud and high-pitched, so the home court advantage is made serious here.
Nothing like a play like that, a couple of plays like that, one defensively and one offensively by Abercrombie, that's going to take this crowd that's already been raucous and take them to another octave.
Worth noting, the Valkyries so far in this set hitting 364. The Vibe hitting 0. The Valkyries' net defense has been really good. They're getting good touches on these blocks, allowing their team to recycle it up and giving them a chance to score. I also think that the Vibe, the middle connection between Marley Monserrat, Corey Lewis, and Vicini or Taya Bella, whoever else is going to be in that middle position, that needs to kind of amp up because they need production out of their middles.
How would you assess the first ball contact by Atlanta on serve receive? It feels like they're getting jammed a lot.
Absolutely, they're kind of pulling their passes off the net. Marley Monserrat is having to scramble. She's setting from that 3-meter line, that 10-foot line. Makes it difficult to be as efficient offensively if you're pulled all the way off the net.
So we'll see if that timeout brings the needed adjustments. Once again, just another misconnection. That first ball contact has been problematic here in set 2. They struggled with it early in set 1, then settled in, Madison. And if they're going to settle in here in set 2, it needs to be sooner rather than later.
And that was surprising from Morgan Hens, but Marley Monserrat almost saved that ball. She went up, tried to set it, just the connection wasn't there.
Monserrat with one hand sets Lewis. Foster, dug by Hens. Second effort, dug by Monserrat, but dug out of play. Another kill for Natalie Foster and another point for the Valks.
Natalie Foster has such a quick snap and a fast arm swing, and it's a really unique swing. She can hit all of these angles because of how unique and quick that swing is.
One of SMU's assistant coaches, Clayton Bristow, sitting behind the server, Adora Anai. Natalie Foster, who finished up her college career at SMU. We hear her head coach, Sam Erger, might also be in the house somewhere tonight, so that'll be a fun little reunion after the match, and I'm certain that all the folks in red, white, and blue for SMU will be grinning from ear to ear watching number 13 in blue for Orlando continue to shred here tonight. Foster. Produces another free ball. Schwann beat the double block, cut that ball inside and put it down.
Here's what I'm noticing for the Vibe. They're scrambling a lot on defense. They are giving the Valkyries a whole lot of free balls. So the Valkyries are having time to reset, and it seems like their first ball contact is just a whole lot better. They're in control of the pace of the game, and it's the Vibe that's scrambling.
11-2. Better pass there. And Leah Edmond puts that ball away.
Absolutely needed to happen. You cannot let the Valkyries get too far ahead. Leah Edmond is going to will this team. She's going to do everything she can to get this team to the win. The Vibe on a 2-match losing streak. Oh, and now we see Anna Dixon come in.
Dub sub.
To Aniga with the double sub, yeah.
Well, you mentioned it, Madison. You need to change some things, go into the bench, see if you can find a different connection. Here's Mia Tuaninga, the rookie from USC who played for Coach Polly when she was an assistant there. Good start.
I like Mia Tuaninga's serve. It's a top spin. They're trying to mix up behind the service line, get some more service pressure. Great block by Leah Edmond, just wrapping that left hand around the ball.
Look at the height on that toss by Tuaninga. Foster, right out of the middle. The middle attack has been immaculate tonight for Orlando, Madison.
It has, and that's the difference maker. And also because the Valkyries are putting themselves in positions to set their middles. They're in system a lot. They're pushing those passes to the net. That's something that the Vibe is not doing.
12-4. Miscommunication there. Adora Anai made a late dive for it. That ball does find the floor, and a much-needed point for Atlanta.
Dep, if you're a setter and you're in the back row, you're breaking to the front row if you get a ball like that. So afterwards, Adora and I was saying, my bad, my bad. She knows she should have taken that ball.
Once again, Conrad is the man of the moment here at Edition Financial Arena, and he always feels his moments. That's tight, and that's put down, and now Orlando's having a little bit of trouble here, Madison, keeping that ball off the net. You want to run the ball up to the net, not on top of it.
It's a fine line for sure. You want to get it in between that 3-meter line and the net. As tight to the net as possible, but without going over.
Schwann, nice swing.
Schwann had a whole lot of room to attack that ball. The block, watch the block. Corey Lewis staying, holding with the middle, holding with Kaz Brown, not getting there to close. Courtney Schwann driving it through that open gap.
Schwann, who's one of the best defensive outside hitters in this league, has been heating up offensively. A couple of big swings for Schwann in this set. And here's Atlanta once again. They've dug their heels in, Madison. They're scratching off points. They've cut the lead to 6.
The Atlanta Vibe is historically winners. This team does not quit. I would never expect them to lay down and roll over.
Regular season champions a season ago. It's a roster that's got a little bit of a different flavor, but those veterans that inspired that run last year are largely all back. Leah Edmond, Morgan Hentz, of course. Shelly Fanning is still part of the team, even though she's on season-ending IR. Off the backside, there's Dixon.
It's a good setting decision by Mia Tuaninga, reversing the flow so well to Dixon. And Dixon driving it through the block. The last time these two teams played, Anna Dixon had 3 kills on 13 attempts. She hit in the negative, so that's one of the reasons why I was harping so much on the opposite production for the Vibe.
Anna Dixon, who started her career at Kansas State, then went to Missouri where she had some All-SEC honors, decided to wrap up her career with Mary Wise in Gainesville, got off to a good start in 2023, but had a season-ending injury and never really got to play it all out. Great to see Dixon in the league, and if you're a fan of Orlando, great to see swings like that. My goodness, Brittany Abercrombie just murdered a volleyball.
The options that Shambu has are incredible too. She's got 2 attackers in the front row. Brittany Abercrombie so solid from the back row, attacking that ball so high.
There's her defense once again, sliding underneath it with a one-handed stab. Quick twitch by Atlanta, they get it over. An eye. Dug by Edmond. Here is Edmond off the bick. And off the D ball, there's Abercrombie rising and firing. Four to 4 by an eye. And Natalie Foster just dropped the hammer.
I feel like it's Natalie Foster who's finishing these really long rallies. She's so confident. She attacks that ball so aggressively every single time.
And with that swing by the newcomer for Orlando, that takes us to our midway media timeout in set number 2. The Valkyries have doubled up Atlanta with a 1-set lead in their pocket. Mads, how do you feel like we're doing from like a storytelling perspective?
I think well. I'm trying to think of more big picture things that we haven't talked
That is a service error as we get back underway. To 9, the Valkyries over the Vibe. Pia Timmer back to serve for Atlanta. Nora Anai goes to work off the block. Great defense there by Morgan Hens off that second contact. Abercrombie had that defense pulled in and rocketed it to the back corner. Timmer saw it coming in hot and tried to get out of the way, but she couldn't.
That's one of the perks of Brittany Abercrombie's swing. She's catching these attackers, these defenders, the middle back defenders high. They're not able to get down, either take it with an overhead dig or get their platform underneath it because it's hitting them in the chest.
Monserrat on the run, sets Edmond. Abercrombie. Timmer out of the back row going off speed. That's I mean, you see the off-speed shots, you don't see them as often from the back row. That's a unique look and a smart shot.
You got to be confident to do that, and she saw Yosia backing up. She wasn't stopped. She was kind of shifting back because she saw the back row attack. She assumed it was going to be a hard-driven ball. So you have to have a lot of body control and vision to tip from that area of the court to that area of the court. Towel King, killing it.
Gives way to the action. 7-point lead still for Orlando. Make it 8. Natalie Foster beat the block. Looked like it was read pretty well, just wasn't timed right.
Exactly. So that's why blocking is so difficult. You can do so many things right, but if the timing is not right, if the press is not as pressed or as invasive as it needs to be, just many little things could affect whether you get the block or not.
Good ball there. And Corey Lewis is saying it's about time. She can score in bunches, and she is incredibly efficient when she gets going.
That's 2 kills on 8 attempts, 1 error, hitting in the negative. So that's uncharacteristic of Corey Lewis, who's leading the league in efficiency.
#1 all-time also at Florida State in hit percentage, hitting .385 over the course of her career. Top 10 in blocking as well. And hey, if you're Atlanta at this point, every break you can get, you will take. That is a friendly roll for Merritt Beeson on the ace serve.
And you have to have the service pressure if you're the Vibe, because when the Valkyries are in system, they're running through Natalie Foster, and she's putting the ball away.
Overpass. Abercrombie off hands. Timmer dug out by Abercrombie. Schwann goes sharp on that 4-to-4 action. And there is Schwann and the rest of Orlando standing strong at the net. I don't think they got a piece of that in terms of their block. I think that was just into the tape.
Yeah, but I don't think Merritt Beeson totally loved that set. She was having to extend pretty far, but I like from the Valkyries, they're triple blocking the back row, getting really solid block touches, allowing their defenders to recycle it back up. They're transitioning off the net quickly, and then they're getting the kill. Courtney Schwann, so crafty, causing a lot of chaos on the Vibe side of the net.
That serve by Foster goes over the end line.
High risk, high reward serve. They give her the green light. They gave her the green light last year at SMU, and they do it here in this league because it is so worth it when she gets it in.
Abercrombie.
Brittany Abercrombie is a 7-year pro, and she absolutely plays like it. She brings out all of her tools. She's got great vision. She's got the power. And she just knows how to score. Leading point scorer in the league.
She's played in Poland, Germany, Puerto Rico, Turkey, South Korea, and on the Puerto Rican national team. In fact, has Abercrombie. Played in South Korea with Shampoo Goodparts. That is a built-in connection for the Valkyries. There's Pia Timmer going back to work offensively with a nice looking swing. Found the open corner.
Pia Timmer earlier this season had to come back from an ankle injury, but Coach Caleb Anworth said it's not an easy thing to come back from, but she's really proud of how she's come back.
Yeah, to that point. Timmer only played one set in the Vibes' recent loss to Columbus, but you go to those 3 matches right before it, coming on the backside of that hiatus. 34 kills in those 3 matches before just only playing one set at Columbus. So she's come back in a big way.
Yep, she moves the ball around well. She mixes up her shots well. She's one of those players that has to produce at a high level if the Vibe is going to take this win.
Corey Lewis trying to drop it in short. Ends up with a service error, point to Orlando. For the moment, Atlanta cut the lead to 5.
It's a fine line with that serve. You have to be aggressive. You have to keep the service pressure up. But when you're down by 5 and the Valkyries are nearing the red zone, you kind of have to get it in too.
Amy Pauley has brought in Lindsay Vanderweide, who played last year for the San Diego Mojo. Has not played a ton this year, but will likely get to close things out here in set 2. Off speed by Vanderweide. Timmer, same story.
The reason that works so well for Timmer is because she disguises it very well. She's coming in with that aggressive approach. She's got her arm swinging exactly like it's going to be if she's going to attack, and at the last moment she drops her shoulder, drops her elbow, and tips it to the right spot.
I mentioned earlier in the show when she dropped in a couple of aces in a row that she was tops at Washington State in aces. She's also top 5 in kills. Brittany Abercrombie continues to pace not just Orlando, but the Pro Volleyball Federation, and she can score from literally anywhere.
And with the triple block in front of her as well, she identifies the hands of the blocks very well, drops the pinky, and swings away.
6-point lead for Orlando, make it 5. Once again, Madison, I've been impressed with how Atlanta has weathered the storm and fought back. It looks like they might run out of time, but we'll see if they can chew into this lead a little bit more.
And you know what that's from? That's from experience and leadership. They have such solid leadership on the Vibes side.
Speaking of that veteran leadership, there's Leah Edmonds.
But it looks like she blocked the ball out. From our vantage point, it looks like it was in, but just not able to wrap around that ball, point those palms, angle those arms into the court.
There's Edmond going back to work offensively, dug by Yosia. Timmer, good work in the back row for number 7. Vanderweide off speed, hence will set the out of system for Beeson. Backside, Abercrombie. A built-in 1-2 connection. Shampoo Goodpard, Brittany Abercrombie, rinse, lather, repeat.
And Yosia is doing a great job, the libero on the Valkyries side, keeping them in system. She's all over the court, really fun to watch, but it's because their defense is keeping them in such good system that Shampoo and Abercrombie are able to have such a good connection.
Orlando won set 1, 25-17. They arrive once again at set point. Beeson extends the proceedings for another point.
If you're the Atlanta Vibe, you're thinking about gaining momentum. You can take momentum into the next set. Even if you lose this one, you need to bring as much confidence, as much rhythm, and as much momentum as possible going into that 3rd set.
McKenna Vicini back to serve. Vanderweide snuck it inside the block and down. And with that, Orlando will speed to the locker room up 2 sets to none.
Serve receive for Orlando has been really clean. They've been in system, defensively really solid, offensively hitting at an extremely high clip. Really solid showing for those first 2 sets for the Valkyries.
They won set 1, 25-17. They win set 2, 25-18. The number 1 team in the Pro Volleyball Federation keeps rolling.
Professional volleyball is back in Orlando. Support your Orlando Valkyries. Enjoy family fun, excitement, and professional volleyball at its best with the Orlando Valkyries. It's good, clean fun. Visit OrlandoValkyries.com. That's OrlandoValkyries.com. Orlando Valkyries Pro Volleyball. You've got to be there.
Why should you get tickets to see the Atlanta Vibe?
There's no whining to the refs like a little crybaby.
There's no falling down and acting like you have a life-threatening injury. Everyone knows you're faking, dude.
They're super nice, unless you're on the other team. Then they're gonna kick your
There's no boring 0-0 ties. They score like constantly.
Yeah, we're really tight.
Get your tickets today at atlantavibe.com.
When I hear it coming up like that, I just know that things are gonna end bad. La 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 la, I'll just keep dropping it, like there's no stopping it. Then walk with it. La 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 la, I'll just keep dropping it, like there's no stopping it. Then walk with it. La 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 la.
Pro Volleyball Federation Season 2. Tickets available now.
Professional volleyball is back in Orlando. Support your Orlando Valkyries. Enjoy family fun, excitement, and professional volleyball at its best with the Orlando Valkyries. It's good, clean fun. Visit OrlandoValkyries.com. That's OrlandoValkyries.com. Orlando Valkyries Pro Volleyball. You've got to be there.
Why should you get tickets to see the Atlanta Vibe?
There's no whining to the refs like a little crybaby.
There's no falling down and acting like you have a life-threatening injury. Everyone knows you're faking, dude.
They're super nice, unless you're on the other team. Then they're gonna kick your
There's no boring 0-0 ties. They score like constantly.
Yeah, we're really tight.
Get your tickets today at atlantavibe.com.
Professional volleyball is back in Orlando. Support your Orlando Valkyries. Enjoy family fun, excitement, and professional volleyball at its best with the Orlando Valkyries. It's good, clean fun. Visit OrlandoValkyries.com. That's OrlandoValkyries.com. Orlando Valkyries Pro Volleyball. You've got to be there.
Why should you get tickets to see the Atlanta Vibe?
There's no whining to the refs like a little crybaby.
There's no falling down and acting like you have a life-threatening injury. Everyone knows you're faking, dude.
They're super nice, unless you're on the other team. Then they're gonna kick your
There's no boring 0-0 ties. They score like constantly.
Yeah, we're really tight.
Get your tickets today at atlantavibe.com.
From your favorite athletes to your favorite music, listen to everything you love and so much more with the free iHeartRadio app. From live play-by-play to your favorite game day anthems and the biggest sports podcasts in the world, the iHeartRadio app lets you take it all with you and stay connected to your favorite team wherever you go. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
Back here in Orlando, 2 sets in the books between Atlanta and the homestanding and #1 team in the league, the Orlando Valkyries. Madison, boy, we're going to sound like a broken record talking about how well the Orlando offense is humming, but in set 1 they hit 342. In set 2, somehow they hit 429. We're going to take a look at some highlights, and certainly there's going to be plenty.
429 as a team is absolutely insane, and it's because of the balance. Each of these attackers are hitting so efficiently, and so many of them have kills on the board. It's really rare to see a team this balanced and with this much range. They run Kaz Brown on the slide. She's really good off of 1 foot behind, as she is off of 2 feet in front. And then defensively, the Valks have been on it, reading those tips, digging it up for the vibe. I think their block needs to amp it up a little bit. They have to get hands on Brittany Abercrombie's swing. They have to slow it down, at least to give their defense a chance to recycle it up to score. And then for the vibe, I would like to see them pushing their passes a little tighter to the net. That last set, they hit 0-0-0. So they need to amp up the efficiency, and it starts with the pass.
Yeah, it feels like they have gone on runs where they've done some really good things, whether it's been their net defense or whether it's been some really nice swings by their pins. They haven't really gotten the middles going quite yet here so far, but there's just been too many miscues.
Exactly. The setter-hitter connection between Marley Monserrat and Corey Lewis hasn't been as on as it usually is. But here's the thing about this team. This Atlanta Vibe team is filled with so many talented athletes. I think they're most definitely going to put up a fight.
And that's a great start. Leah Edmond, you couldn't pick a better person to get the effort started. If Atlanta's going to win this match, it's going to have to be in a reverse sweep fashion. That's 3 out of 5 to claim the match. Orlando won the first 2. It's pretty straightforward if you're a fan of the vibe. Puccini goes back to serve. And Shampoo is going to be called for an illegal touch, I believe, there.
Good aggressive serving from the vibe. It's going to be very important that they come out fast. Do not let the Valkyries establish themselves like they did in the first 2 sets.
Very similar tale to what we saw when these 2 teams met for the first time this season in Atlanta. All Orlando early, and then in set 3, it was Atlanta who dictated a lot of that set until the Valkyries stormed back late and ended up winning the match in straight. So a positive start here in set 3 for sure for Atlanta. We'll see if they can keep it rolling. Corey Lewis dug by Yosia. Beeson bounces that one in front of Yosia.
This looks like a rejuvenated, a more energized Atlanta Vibe team. I would love to know what Coach Kayla Vanworth or what some of the leaders on the team were saying to each other in between that second set and this set.
Whatever it was, it has paid off so far. They have spread the ball around, made a really nice effort play already here in this set. And now they're coming up big on the block.
Okay, Corey Lewis. Nice invasive. I say the word invasive a lot with Corey Lewis, but it's because she is. She is over on the other side of the net, pressing those arms totally on the other side, and then she does such a good job at reading the attack.
All right, Mads, I guess it's time for a shameless plug. You and I have done a lot of Florida State matches over the year, and I think I wouldn't be stretching reality too far to say that it always appeared throughout the balance of her career that Corey Lewis was a more offensive than defensive-oriented middle. And I think a lot of folks lose sight of the fact that she's actually really solid on the block, too.
And it was her last year at Florida State last season that I feel like her defense really caught up to her offense. Now she's running with it. She's doing a great job. She moves really quick side to side. She's been solid defensively for that.
Oh, great stretch by Hentz. Monserrat was in the right place to dig that one out, but couldn't quite do it. Great effort, though, on both sides.
I love the energy from Kaz Brown, too. She's such an emotional driver for this Valkyries team. A lot of great personalities on this Valkyrie squad.
Nice job there off serve, receive. Edmond was jammed up initially, and Madison, this is something that Orlando did a lot of when they played the Vibe in Gas South Arena. They intentionally served Edmond over and over and over to try to pull her out of that passing pattern, to try to pull her out of the offense, and in that case, she handled the heat pretty well.
And last match, it was successful. They pulled Leah Edmond out of the offense quite often. She only had 10 kills. Yes, she led her team, but 10 kills isn't as many as she usually has. So the aggressive serving, targeting Leah Edmond is a strategy for the Valkyries and one that typically works.
Edmond herself went back to serve. It was a service error, point right back to Orlando. Still the Vibe leading, 5-4, make it 6-4. Marley Monserrat is so crafty and so savvy. That is twice now she has called her own number. Great vision of the court.
And Marley Monserrat has such a solid all-around game. Defensively, she had a 20-dig match earlier this season. And then offensively, she's just up there as well. So all-around game, she's very solid.
When you talk about the all-around game for Monserrat, who sets Timmer out at the pin, she played 2 years of beach. How might that have helped her?
I love beach volleyball. I think it definitely benefited her in many ways. The all-around game has to be so formed and so technically sound in beach volleyball. It also makes you a scrappier player. Just so many different ways.
Speaking of scrappy, Courtney Schwann going off speed. She's played some beach volleyball herself over in Europe.
And that's a little beach volleyball shot as well. That's a transferable swing to beach and indoor. The roll shot over the block. Good vision by her. It's one of the reasons why she's so crafty. She's such a solid beach player as well.
Ball control too, ever important on the sand. And when you think of Courtney Schwann, yeah, she can put some good swings on the ball, but she has proven her worth in that back row.
Most definitely. And in beach, there's elements. There's wind, there's sun, and you're having to have that good of ball control. So when you come inside, it's more controlled.
Beeson flying high, and so is the volleyball. No touch by Orlando. They got the hands down in time. We're knotted up at 6. Might we have our first challenge? In fact, we do. Landry Hampshire signaling that Atlanta has gone to the monitor. Our first chance to talk about this Bolt 6 technology in a little bit more expansive fashion than what we have earlier. You can't challenge whether or not a ball was in or out. The technology itself can measure to the millimeter on that. You can challenge virtually anything else. There was no touch there on that ball, so with that not even being particularly close, you have to imagine maybe looking at a net touch?
I would assume so, yes, because you're right, that was not close to her hands. Maybe from someone else's vantage point, it looked a little closer.
There's a command center in Charlotte, North Carolina that's looking through all the different angles, communicating with Young Park, who in turn is communicating with Landry Hampshire. Young Park, the R2 official, isn't across the net from Hampshire like you would usually see in college volleyball. He is at a monitor looking at all the angles himself, and regardless of the angle you look at, I think it's pretty straightforward. There was no touch on the ball, there was no touch on the net. That is Orlando's point. Tight. Timmer makes the most of it. An eye. What a stab by Hentz. Off the bick. There's Edmond. Yosia directs traffic out of system for an eye. Near collision for the Vibe. Timmer on the cross.
We can't talk about that play without talking about Morgan Hentz. Announcers call that left back position that Hentz is in Hentzville, and they say do not go to Hentzville because Morgan Hentz has that area on lock. Well, she just showed that perfectly. Perfect example of Hentzville right there. This Atlanta team, I said they weren't going to quit, and it's true. They're playing with a lot of power, a lot of confidence.
Hentz, a national champion at Stanford, all-time leader in digs, over 2,300 in fact for Morgan Hentz. She's been on the international roster as well, and that defensive effort has been one of the ingredients in this inspired third set, Madison. This is the best volleyball we've seen Atlanta sustain all match long.
And it's because of the leadership, the experience. They're not going away. They're not going to quit. They've been in tough, pressure-filled situations before, and they know how to respond.
Good ball there by Murphy. Abercrombie lights up Hens, who still digs it out. Edmond dug by Schwann. Off the D ball, Abercrombie kept up by Monserrat. Hens sets the pick for Edmond. Great rally. And Timmer tools the block. Timeout by Orlando.
It's a good timeout. The Vibe has some momentum. They're playing better. They're making great digs. Their offense is being more efficient. It's a solid timeout call.
If you had to point to one or two things that have made the difference for Atlanta in this set, where would you start, Madison?
I think the setter-hitter connection between Marley Monserrat, her opposites, and her middles are a little bit more on point. They're pushing their passes to the net. They're also being more aggressive from the service line. They have just amped up every single area of their game, and that's the difference maker.
Well, it certainly has paid off. It looks like, too, for what it's worth, while we're in the middle of this timeout, somebody with the facility staff is taking a look at the monitor on Landry Homscher's stand. So hopefully we aren't having an issue there. Doesn't appear so. He's set and ready to resume the action. Can see the energy, too, coming off of that Atlanta bench. Merritt Beeson yelling, "Let's go," as she high-fives her teammates coming onto the floor. It has been a rough match so far for Atlanta. This has been an impressive response here in set number 3. And a quick laugh for Marley Monserrat. She's one of those veterans, but as much experience as you might have, sometimes coming out of a timeout, you do forget who's supposed to serve. In this case, it was Monserrat. She goes back and she gets us back underway. Smart shot by Kaz Brown off 1 foot right into the campfire for number 11.
That was a much needed response by the Valkyries. Good pass. I like Shampoo's setting decision there. Kaz Brown is just as effective behind the setter as she is in front.
And there's Vicini out of the middle. You mentioned it, Madison. It feels like they are certainly having more success running that middle. And the more and more success Atlanta has there, they're going to pull that blocker.
Coach Caleb Banworth says, when in system, our offense is very hard to stop. We have very offensive middles, but we have to be in system.
This is an Atlanta team that has no shortage of talent. They've dealt with some injury issues throughout the course of this season. So at times they haven't been full strength. Great effort there by Anai defensively. There have been some seriously entertaining rallies.
Off of the quad of Courtney Schwann. Ricocheted off the quad or off of the knee. And then put over by Shampoo. But Merritt Beeson tooling the block, driving it down the line. That was a good decision. Nice area of the court to swing at.
Anai dug up by Hens. Edmond. Good positive block touch by the Valks there. But speaking of positive block touches, look at McKenna Vicini.
This is the potential of the Atlanta Vibe. Morgan Hens laying out, making these crazy digs. Leah Edmond attacking so confidently and aggressively. Good production from the opposite, good blocking from the middles. This is a different Vibe team than we saw in the first 2 sets.
Speaking of different teams, how about a different look? Lindsay Vanderweider relieves Adora Anai. Natalie Foster back in the scorers column, number 13.
How is she even able to hit that angle from our vantage point? That just looks almost impossible. But because she gets up so high, she's able to have so much range and create so many angles for herself around the block.
So Shampoo back to serve. Beeson off the block, dug out by Timmer. Edmond tools the block for another kill.
Leah Edmond, all she could do there was swing as hard as possible. Really brave swing.
Yeah.
I think maybe a less experienced player would have gone off speed, maybe tried to tip it over, recycle it back, but no, Leah Edmond just lit up that block.
The first player to commit to the Pro Volleyball Federation over a year ago, Leah Edmond, has been in many ways the face of the operation, and one of the bright young faces, Natalie Foster, continues to make a name for herself against Atlanta tonight.
What I like about Natalie Foster is that she's unfazed. She's very calm. That's her 10th kill, hitting well over 500.
Service error there by Lindsay van der Weide. That'll send Merritt Beeson back to serve. Nine kills, 7 digs for Beeson so far in this one. Schwann, off speed, picked up by Edmond. And Corey Lewis, an open net. She knows what to do with it.
And talk about athletic. Corey Lewis didn't even have her approach in front of her. She wasn't even moving forward. She had to reach behind her to snap on that ball. That takes a lot of body control to be able to get that ball in.
Lewis, who cracked the all-star list as a rookie. Trying to get going here in this match. Orlando's trying to get going in this set, and they have been spinning their wheels, to say the least. And with that attack error, that misconnection by the Valks, that sends us to our midway media break here in set number 3. And after trailing big in sets 1 and 2, it's Atlanta who leads big on the road in a must-win set. My, what do we have here in Orlando? In the Pro Volleyball Federation, where everybody's an All-American, you have a handful of Olympians, people who are certainly not lacking familiarity in the pro game. Should not come as any surprise when a team that's been beaten handedly turns the tables, and that's exactly what Atlanta has done in set 3. And now Corey Lewis is getting on top of volleyballs and putting them down in a hurry.
That's what it looks like when Corey Lewis gets on top and she snaps. She has all the range in the world. Her vision is immaculate. She sees the block, and since her angles are so sharp, she can swing around it with ease.
Came into this match as the only hitter in the league hitting above 400 on the season. It's a great serve by Merritt Beeson.
Your coach, Kayla Banworth, you are so pleased with the way that your team has responded and has wiped away those first 2 sets. They've forgotten about it and how they're playing in this 3rd set.
Foster snuck it inside the block. Beeson ranges over, hence pops it over. Foster again. How about the defense, the grittiness of this Atlanta squad, especially here in set 3. Backside, Abercrombie, that is dug up. Pia Timmer has had a night in the back row. Joust at the net, it comes out with the vibe. Edmonds, straight down rejection by Natalie Foster. Big time high five from Brittany Abercrombie. That is one that the Valkyries needed.
And there's some emotion from Natalie Foster. Very rarely do you see her get a little emotional, scream out. That was a must-have point for the Valkyries, who are now trailing by 8. But you mentioned Pia Timmer, and you brought it up during the break. That was her 16th dig. She's playing phenomenal volleyball in middle back, and we're only in set 3. Imagine if this gets pushed to extra sets.
She has taken a lot in that back row. She has handled a lot of heat, especially from Abercrombie. And you can see the confidence starting to build in Corey Lewis. Back in the Sunshine State, now off 1 foot. That is something that she ran a lot at Florida State.
And she's just as confident behind as she is in front. You can run her on the gap set, you can run her on the 1, the quick right in front, or you can do a little tempo back set slide. And you're right, it's the confidence. When she heats up and she has that confidence, she's very hard to stop.
And one of her teammates in Tallahassee a season ago, Taylor Head, checks in for the first time in this match, and she serves. Kaz Brown puts that ball down at the net, and I think the story is similar here, Madison. We were talking about Atlanta. Feels like you might run out of time with regards to this particular set if you're Orlando, but if you can build some momentum back on your side of the net, might bode well in set number 4.
And I was just about to say, it's not impossible to come back, but now you're right, in the red zone for Atlanta. Orlando down by 9, and Atlanta really has controlled this set start to finish. We see Shannon Skelly coming in for the Valkyries. A little switch up there, giving Brittany Abercrombie some rest.
Second substitution of this set for Orlando. No touch, says Landry Homscher.
Volleyball is such a funny game. I was talking with Katie George about this at the National Championships for College this past season, and she said it's so funny how one team can absolutely dominate in one set, and then the next set, the whole game gets completely flipped onto its head, and then the other team dominates. It's really funny and entertaining because of that fact.
That is exactly what has happened here in set number 3. Nice swing there by Courtney Schwann, finding the open corner.
Courtney Schwann causes the Valkyries to be at their best when she is producing at a high level, when she's getting kills at a high level. Defensively, she is always on. She's incredible in the back row.
Timmer. Off serve receive. Goes into the corner offensively. Second look for Timmer. No touch by Orlando. There's a few Vibe players who thought there might have been one. Lead down to 8, make it 9.
Too many missed serves late in the game for the Valkyries. You can't catch up if you're gonna miss these serves. I appreciate that they're going for it. They're trying to drop in a short serve, create some chaos for the Vibe, but it's the Vibe that's been the most clean, the most consistent this set. And sometimes it's contagious.
It's funny how often that happens, isn't it?
It is, it is. It's mental for sure. You're going back, you're thinking about that other missed serve. Mental game is huge.
High reach there for Natalie Foster. Had to go off speed with it, and Timmer just shoves that ball through the block. How big has she been?
She's been phenomenal, front row and back row, extending plays for her team, and that was very athletic. She had to transition off the net very quickly. She didn't have her full approach in front of her, but the power on that tip made it impossible to dig.
That is kill number 11 to go along with 16 digs.
Double-double.
For Pia Timmer. Yeah, you got it. And how about an ace serve?
The last time these two teams played, I said it before, Pia Timmer, 2 kills on 13 attempts. She has elevated her game drastically, and that's been the difference maker in this set.
Not only does she have that double-double, Madison, that is her 3rd ace of the match. Vander Weide with a nice swing there. That'll be her 2nd kill. Atlanta still has a couple handfuls of set points.
Vicini got a little tied up there in the middle, running with Natalie Foster on that gap set, jumping with Natalie Foster, opening up a one-on-one situation.
First 2 sets of this match were lopsided. Orlando won them 25-17 and 18. And with that swing by Merritt Beeson, the Vibe exacts some revenge and claims set 3 by 10.
We are moving on to set 4. Love the response from the Vibe. Very confident, very mature way to respond from those first 2 sets to really amp it up a notch.
After only dropping 2 sets in February, the first set dropped in this match and this month for Orlando.
Professional volleyball is back in Orlando. Support your Orlando Valkyries. Enjoy family fun, excitement, and professional volleyball at its best with the Orlando Valkyries. It's good, clean fun. Visit OrlandoValkyries.com. That's OrlandoValkyries.com. Orlando Valkyries Pro Volleyball. You've got to be there.
Why should you get tickets to see the Atlanta Vibe?
There's no whining to the refs like a little crybaby.
There's no falling down and acting like you have a life-threatening injury. Everyone knows you're faking, dude.
They're super nice, unless you're on the other team. Then they're gonna kick your
There's no boring 0-0 ties. They score like constantly.
Yeah, we're really tight.
Get your tickets today at atlantavibe.com.
We got it next. That's how you finesse. We come for they next. Now they calling my phone, yeah, but I'm all in my zone. They not a threat. Tell them reset. She is absolutely white hot. And a nice block on the outside. Did it all on my own, yeah. Went and brought it back home. What a final rally.
When I hear it coming up like that, I just know that things are gonna end bad. La 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 la. I'll just keep dropping it, like there's no stopping it. Then walk with it. La 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 la. I'll just keep dropping it, like there's no stopping it. Then walk with it. La 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 la.
Pro Volleyball Federation Season 2. Tickets available now.
Welcome back to Central Florida on YouTube as Pro Volleyball Federation play continues in the Sunshine State. The Orlando Valkyries dropping set 3, at the time up 2-0, now make it 2-1 over the Atlanta Vibe, whom Orlando swept in early February in Atlanta at Gas South Arena. They're gonna have to mash on the gas pedal here in set number 4. We get back underway. Sean Davis and Madison Fitzpatrick, our entire crew on hand here on the campus of UCF. Brittany Abercrombie just has to push that ball over. A misconnection out of the gates for Orlando. And there is no such thing as a misconnection at the moment for Atlanta, just like they did in set 3. The opening salvo here in set 4 goes to the Vibe.
In that third set, the Vibe's offense came alive and it clicked. Corey Lewis stepped up, Beeson stepped up, hit 500. Timmer and Hens had that back row on lock. That was the Vibe in their truest, in their best form, and it looks like from the start of this that they're taking that momentum into this set.
Out of the middle and a misfire by Natalie Foster. Don't mind the idea to run the middle, just miss the sideline.
Well, one of the adjustments that the Vibe made is now they're triple blocking Natalie Foster in the middle, so they're putting more emphasis on Foster in front of the setter.
And a misfire by Brittany Abercrombie, so a couple of attack errors by the Valkyries. And it's 3-0 Atlanta. The Vibe must win this fourth set to extend the match to a potentially decisive fifth. If Orlando rallies and wins this set, they will win the match in 4. Speaking of 4, there's number 4 in blue for Orlando. Courtney Schwann on the cross-court attack, found the back corner. Feels like the Valkyries could certainly benefit from a run by Natalie Foster right there at the line. And because of that, that is an important shot by Merritt Beeson. That'll chase Foster for the moment and bring in Georgia Murphy, and that is a big-time sigh of relief for Atlanta.
And smart move by Beeson, registering, knowing that Foster's in that left back position. As a middle, she's not used to getting down and digging those balls. It's a smart move.
Schwann. Timmer dug by Murphy. Back set, Abercrombie. That is a smart decision by Brittany Abercrombie. Rolled it to the back corner.
Brittany Abercrombie makes it look so easy, but really that's such a finesse shot. You have to keep the ball in front of you. You have to have it leading you. And then you have to have a whole lot of body control, ball control to get that where you want to go. And it has to be placed perfectly because middle back is pursuing that ball. And if it's anywhere kind of in the middle, Pia Timmer is going to dig it up.
24 kills for Abercrombie in the Valks' most recent match at Omaha. And that was a straight set win for Orlando in that match that set a Pro Volleyball Federation record for most kills in a 3-setter.
Love that tempo set from Marley Monserrat to Leah Edmond, who just eats it up. On that tempo set, if she's on top of it, she can pinpoint wherever she wants to attack that ball, right there, driving it down the line.
Schwann takes some tempo off, hence there to cover. Abercrombie ranges over. It'll be Schwann once again on the attack. And this time the off-speed falls.
Smart shot by Courtney Schwann. She mixes it up just enough. She drove some balls deep into that 5-6 area, but they're mixing it up, selling it nicely with an aggressive approach. I say it all the time, but Courtney Schwann just needs to be on the court because of her presence, her ball control in the back row, all of the intangibles that she brings as well.
8th kill to go along with 8 digs for Schwann. Lewis.
Corey Lewis stepped up big time in that third set, and that was one of the difference makers. When she's in a rhythm, she has the ability to commit 0 errors and to hit at the highest clip in the league, so getting her going early was really important.
Lewis has 6 kills in this match. 4 of them have come between sets 3 and early on in set number 4. We talked about the service pressure that Orlando was able to generate early, Madison, and how off balance that Atlanta looked like in their serve-receive patterns. I'll ask you the same question because it certainly feels like now the Vibe are turning the tables.
Absolutely, and it's so funny how basic the game is when you break it down to serve and pass, but really, if you break it down, the serve and pass is one of the, if not the most important element of the game, and the Vibe has the serve game right now. They're winning in that category.
Yeah, indeed it is funny. You ask any coach anywhere what you need to do to win a match, and the first thing, 99% of them will tell you, we got to serve the ball well, we got to pass the ball well.
And passing is the first thing you learn as a young volleyball player, so you're back to your roots. You just have to have that area of your game on lock if you're going to win at this level.
Service error by Kaz Brown after Adora and I took a page out of Courtney Schwann's book, dropping the off-speed over for a kill. Lead is back to 4 for Atlanta. And Lewis goes back to serve. It's an ace serve for Corey.
Looked like that serve caught Adora and I a little off guard. She seemed rushed. It would be preferred to either shuffle back and pass that ball or get your hands underneath it, pop it up a little bit higher so your setter can get to it, but she looked a little rushed.
Lewis, who hit 620 in Atlanta's last match against Columbus, is starting to heat up. And that is an important swing for Orlando. There have been some misconnections looking to establish Brittany Abercrombie once again. the more she can put balls away, the better it is going to serve the Valkyries.
And she's just quietly tacked on 17 kills, hitting .389. She's incredible.
When you can record 17 kills and it feels quiet, I think that is the ultimate compliment. Montserrat this time dug, but dug out of play by Yosia.
I asked Kayla Banworth what goes into deciding whether it's going to be Montserrat or Tuanina, and she said whichever setter, one, has the connection going with her attackers, and then two, has the most solid all-around game at the time. An all-around game also constitutes an offensive weapon. You have to make yourself an offensive weapon, and Marley Montserrat is all over that area of her game right now.
I've seen that several times tonight, in fact. Good cover there by Abercrombie. Anai. Beeson. Dug out by Shampoo. Timmer. A teardrop over the block and down.
The out-of-system setting on both sides of the net is so clean and so exact. This is pro volleyball. And then Timmer mixes it up so well, is very crafty, very smart with her attack. Atlanta Vibe up 11-5. They're looking to commit the reverse sweep.
And they are well on their way here in set number 4 to at least forcing a 5th set. A timeout by Orlando. And I mean, you just flip it. Madison sets 1 and 2. It was Orlando out early, and early timeouts by the Vibe. They couldn't figure out what they needed to do. They could not crack the code, and now here in set 3 and set 4, it has been all Atlanta.
We talked about it earlier, but the Valkyries were hitting so efficiently in set 1 and set 2. 342 in set 1, 429 in set 2. But the Vibe made blocking adjustments. They're triple blocking Natalie Foster in the middle. They're throwing up triple blocks on the back row attack. So it's the adjustments made by the coaching staff and the players that has gotten the Vibe back in it.
And that coaching staff headed by Kayla Banworth, the first-year head coach for the Vibe. Brian Doyon and Sally Paul-Hamas were the assistant coaches for Todd Dagenet a year ago when the Vibe were the regular season champions. Again, Atlanta picked preseason number 1 this year after winning the regular season, but falling to Grand Rapids in a 5-setter in the Pro Volleyball Federation semifinals in Omaha just last year. So a lot of talent, some younger faces on this Atlanta roster, but I really think, Madison, it really wasn't a question of if they were going to figure it out after a tough month of February. It was when, and they very clearly are putting the pieces to the puzzle together right here, right now in Orlando tonight.
And they have all of the pieces to put that puzzle together. They've got the experience in Leah Edmond, Marley Montserrat, who was the setter last season, and Morgan Hentz. And then they have the number 1 pick in the draft, Merritt Beeson. So they've got a bunch of pieces that are working together well. Not to mention Pia Timmer has stepped up tremendously.
Crowd's trying to inspire the Valks, getting as loud as they have been at any point tonight. As Lindsay Vanderweide gets a shove from Nora Sis. Amy Pauly's digging deeper and deeper into the bench, replacing both of her left pins in that timeout.
Just displaying the full depth of the Valkyries. They've got a stacked bench.
So it's Sis and Vanderweide in for Schwann and Anai. Great defense. You like the effort. Beeson couldn't bat it over. But man, even when they can't get it over, Madison, Atlanta is still in the right places and getting a hand on a ball.
And that is led by Morgan Hentz. I don't want to take credit for coining the term Hentzville. That was Paul Sunderland, but I just think it is so perfect. She is all over Hentzville. That ball does not drop on her watch.
3-time national champion at Stanford, 3-time All-American as well. Here comes Natalie Foster. If you're going to triple block her, then you better keep balls off the net on your serve-receive patterns, because she knows exactly what to do with those overpasses.
And watch her man the net. That is her job. Take care of the overpass. That is a point that you must have. At this level, if you get an overpass, you have to put the ball away.
Overpasses and free balls, especially, Madison, you have got to be ultra aggressive with.
Exactly. When you see a free ball coming over the net, you're thinking capitalize. This is our point. We're going to make them pay for giving us a free ball.
Timmer. 4-point lead for Atlanta. Without showing some life, though. Merritt Beeson off hands and out.
That was a pro move by Merritt Beeson. That out-of-system set by Morgan Hens looks like it was going to be off the net enough, but then it slowly but surely made its way to get tighter onto the net. So Merritt Beeson knew what she had to do, tooling the block with her tip.
12th kill for Beeson to go along with 8 digs, approaching what would be her 5th double-double on the season, just a couple digs away. Service error just keeping things interesting here. Speaking of interesting, here's Natalie Foster back to serve once more.
I said it before, but it's a high-risk, high-reward serve. It's a hybrid. She's hitting at it. It's such a high point. It's coming downward at a really interesting trajectory that the opposing service line is not used to passing. So high-risk, high-reward, but worth it. Keep giving her the green light.
In comes Aiko Jones off the bench to serve. Sis. Dug in the back row by Timmer, who has made her money defensively, and Atlanta's defense has really inspired this comeback.
Atlanta's defense is now moving really quickly side to side. They're getting there, they're closing the block, they're making solid block touches, and then they're taking care of those balls that they need to.
6-point lead. Make it 5. One point away from the midway media break here in set number 4. Edmonds. Here's Sis. Was there a touch? No, says Landry Hampshire. Orlando was lobbying for it immediately, but nobody is making the move to challenge. And so with that, that'll take us to our midway media break here at Edition Financial Arena. Atlanta must win this set to force a 5th, and they are well on their way, leading at 16-10. Back underway here in set 4 in Orlando. Sean Davison, Madison Fitzpatrick, excuse me. Atlanta and Orlando here at Edition Financial Arena. And an immediate side out for the Valks.
Great set by Shampoo, and then Nora Sis was drafted 3rd overall. Great get by the Valkyries. A standout, tons of success at Creighton University.
Creighton, who made a run to the Elite 8 in the State College Regional Gave the eventual national champions Penn State everything they could possibly hope for. Corey Lewis off 1 foot, put that ball down automatically. Keep an eye on number 22 in black. She is really starting to gain some steam.
And with such a high ceiling as well, she hasn't even tapped into her full potential yet.
That's tight.
Aggressive serving, it's all about that service pressure that gets you going in the right direction. It causes some chaos on the Valkyrie side. They're scrambling and you're able to have control.
Shampoo off a dime of a ball by Georgia Murphy, calls her own number.
And talk about it looking casual, mixing it in. Beautiful, just a little hop, keeping that ball in front of her with her left hand, tipping it to that campfire. Very experienced move.
Timmer. Vanderweide there to pick it up. Abercrombie. Sis lays out but couldn't dig it.
Good read by Vanderweide to keep that ball alive, but this is a Vibe team that simply is saying, no, we are not going to get swept. We're going to take you to 5. And when the Vibe has that kind of determination, they're very difficult to stop.
I thought you were about to say when the Vibe has that kind of vibe.
That would have been so good. I wish that I would have said that. That's okay, next time.
It would have certainly been appropriate. Abercrombie.
All right, the Valkyries are still in it, but they cannot afford to miss any more serves. They have to continue. They can't make silly errors. They have to play clean from here on out.
Within 6. Vicini kept alive by Yosia. Vanderweide off the inside, hands of the block and down.
Give an assist to Abby Hansen with that bump set. Really controlled. A little bit inside, but Vanderweide with that roundhouse, really cool arm swing, is able to tool the block.
Abby Hansen started the season as Orlando's second middle until Natalie Foster proved she's just too good and cannot not be on the floor. First time we've seen Hansen since. Andrea Hampshire is saying a touch by the Valkyries there, point to the Vibe. Still no challenge by Orlando.
There was a little conversation to challenge, but Brittany Abercrombie said, no, I did touch it. Because you don't want to waste a challenge. If you know that you touched it, you might as well come clean, because you only get 2 a set.
Vanderweide off speed, tips it over the block.
Off speed and lefty. That was really impressive. It's very difficult to do. She makes it look easy, but going up, controlling that ball, just tipping it right over the block to the right spot. You don't have as much control over the ball with your opposite hand, but that was well done.
That was close. Vanderweide thought she dropped in an ace. And she did not, just by a fraction. Bolt 6 doing a little flexing there, showing us just how close it is and just how good that read was. Overpass, put down. McKenna Vicini. And at this point in time, this timeout by Orlando, look, you want to have a never say die attitude, right, Madison? You want to say there's a chance we're going to come back into it. The reality is there's fewer points between Atlanta and a 5th set than there is Orlando and Atlanta. And this time out, yes, there could be some strategy involved, but it feels like this is ever more important just to stop the flow and keep that momentum for building.
Yes, agreed. It's never too late to make a push. That's what the Valkyries are trying to do right now. I'm surprised that timeout wasn't called a little bit sooner with them making such a comeback and then the Vibe getting it back. But it's never too late. And like I've said before, you can carry momentum into the next set. The Vibe, their response has been absolutely phenomenal. Their service pressure has really amped up. They caused that overpass. They're getting the Valkyries in a little bit of chaos. When the Valkyries are in system, which is what they were in set 1 and 2, they were hitting at such a high clip. But now with the aggression behind the service line, they're not able to be as efficient.
Looks like we could be heading to a 5th set here in Central Florida between the preseason #1 and the current #1 Atlanta and Orlando. And if you're interested, the Fury are taking on the Mojo in about 10 or so minutes out in San Diego. The Fury, who have been one of the hotter teams in the league of late, have won 4 of their last 5. That would have been 4 contacts, speaking of the number 4, by Atlanta. It's a much-needed point for the Valks.
And the Valkyries were not happy with that second contact. They said it looked a little dirty, it was spinning. They wanted that double contact call, but they didn't have to because they got the point.
Abby Henson goes back to serve, and Marley Montserrat duped the defense again.
And that was great decision making because Abby Hansen is in left back. She knows Abby Hansen as a middle is not used to digging that on-2 shot. So very solid, smart decision making.
Sis, off serve received. Everything about that was picture perfect for Nora Sis.
Nora Six is 6'1", but she has a really high vertical, and she uses it every time she attacks with a whole lot of momentum in her approach, swinging high and over the block.
Misconnection there by Atlanta. And just like that, the lead is down to 5.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a timeout from Atlanta if the Valkyries get this next point or the point after.
Edmonds up ahead to Montserrat, and that is dug out of play by Brittany Abercrombie.
No need for the timeout. Corey Lewis is on it in this 4th set. She's got 2 kills on 2 attacks, hitting 100%.
That'll work.
That'll work. That'll do. That's definitely taking advantage of whenever you get set.
Set points for Atlanta. That's 1 gone. And that'll send Nora Sis back to serve. Montserrat on the run. Vanderweide off the top of the block. Edmonds will send us to a 5th and final set here in Central Florida.
This is an Atlanta Vibe team that does not want to lose, and it is powered by Leah Edmond. I will be interested to see who the Orlando Valkyries put in the outside position coming back in the 5th set. They put Lindsay Vanderweide and Nora Sis out there. I'll be interested to see what combinations they go with in the 5th set.
Lots of things we're about to find out on the backside of this commercial break. Atlanta and Orlando, 1 set to decide this match in Orlando tonight.
Professional volleyball is back in Orlando. Support your Orlando Valkyries. Enjoy family fun, excitement, and professional volleyball at its best with the Orlando Valkyries. It's good, clean fun. Visit OrlandoValkyries.com. That's OrlandoValkyries.com. Orlando Valkyries Pro Volleyball. You've got to be there.
Why should you get tickets to see the Atlanta Vibe?
There's no whining to the refs like a little crybaby.
There's no falling down and acting like you have a life-threatening injury. Everyone knows you're faking, dude.
They're super nice, unless you're on the other team. Then they're gonna kick your
There's no boring 0-0 ties. They score like constantly.
Yeah, we're really tight.
Get your tickets today at atlantavibe.com.
When I hear it coming up like that, I just know that things are gonna end bad. La 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 la, I'll just keep dropping it, like there's no stopping it. Then walk with it. La 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 la, I'll just keep dropping it,
Federation Season 2. Tickets available now.
Welcome back to the campus of the University of Central Florida. We're at Addition Financial Arena, where it'll be one set to decide this match between Atlanta and Orlando. Preseason #1 against the current #1. The Vibes 6-7, 5th in the standings. The Valkyries on the strength of 7 straight wins at 9-4 and atop the league. Here we go, 1st to 15, win by 2 to decide it. Abercrombie off the right side for Orlando gets the first swing. And off the right side for Atlanta, there's Merritt Beeson. Lindsay Vanderweide gets the call on the pin for the Valkyries to start things off in set 5. Courtney Schwann, her counterpart in the back row, keeps it alive. Free ball opportunity, though, for Atlanta. Leah Edmond got the Vibe off to a strong start in set 3, got him off to a strong start in set 4, and surprise, surprise, a big swing to start off set 5.
The reigning PVF MVP, the reigning outside hitter of the year, 2nd in points, 2nd in kills. If anyone can do it, it's her.
Lindsay Vanderweide does not get the touch call she was looking for. That's an attack error by number 8 in blue. Challenged by the Valkyries to 0 Atlanta. Pia Timmer back to serve. High stretch there for Abercrombie. Had to go off speed with it. Edmond recycles. Now works hard in transition. Vanderweide off the block. Covered by Murphy. Another look for Vanderweide. Dug out by Timmer. Foster turned back and down. It does not seem to matter where Orlando goes. Atlanta is either there to cover or watch it go out.
And I mean, talk about an adjustment from the first 2 sets. Defensively, that's what changed for the Vibe. They made adjustments. They went to the locker room in between set 2 and set 3, and they did what they needed to do. The lining up is different. They're holding, they're playing very disciplined. They looked a little scattered in the first 2 sets, but now they have completely locked in and turned it around defensively.
Orlando won the first 2 sets, 25, 17, and 18. They were rolling into the locker room, and it has been all Atlanta ever since. And there's a trickle ace to boot.
Timeout called for the Valkyries. That's a smart timeout. In the first 2 sets, the Valkyries came out hot, and they got a lead. In the second 2 sets, the Vibe came out hot, and they got a lead. Whichever team starts the fastest in the first 4 sets has won. So it's very imperative that the Valkyries make a push right now, because historically, from the way that the first 4 sets went, it's looking like maybe the Vibe will take this.
And again, this 5th set only goes to 15. It doesn't go to 25. So you can only let something go so far before that lead starts to become too large for you to swallow up and find some inroads and make your way back. Orlando simply had to call a timeout right there.
Absolutely. The importance of each point is just amplified in the 5th set. You've got to try to cut down on your errors, your attacking errors, your service errors. But it's going to be really important for the Valkyries to come back. You have to side out immediately. 1 quick side out. You can't go down by 5 in a 5th set this early. And then you have to apply some service pressure.
Both teams break their respective huddles and head out to the floor here in Orlando. Sean Davison, Madison Fitzpatrick, our entire crew on hand as Amy Pauley and the Valkyries host Kayla Banwarth and the Atlanta Vibe. Atlanta 2-5 in the month of February. A gotta have it kind of match, and they are playing like it down the stretch. Vanderweide. Speaking of having to have it, Orlando needed that point, and Vanderweide comes away with the big swing.
Champu is an incredible setter, getting down low, getting her hands underneath that ball, squaring her hips to Lindsay Vanderweide, who made a good adjustment in the air. That ball was kind of drifting over to her left shoulder, but she cut it off quickly to tool the block.
And when Lindsay Vanderweide can get going, she can score in bunches. Scored 30, in fact, against Orlando a season ago when she played for the Mojo. There's Brittany Abercrombie.
What a set from Yosia, keeping her body weight behind that ball, pushing it all the way to the pin. That was a setter kind of set. Perfect to her left shoulder.
Yosia, one of the rookies on this Orlando team out of Michigan State, led the Big Ten in digs this past season. Schwann looks for the cross, dug by Hentz. Edmond caught a piece of the block. How about that effort by Yosia? Beeson dug out by Vanderweide. Great rally. And Brittany Abercrombie puts an end to it.
Defense wins games. Yosia is constantly on the move. She's making the read. She's keeping the ball alive, laying out. Same with Vanderweide. Really solid defense in that middle back position. And then if you want the ball to be put away and you're out of system, you shoot that thing over to Brittany Abercrombie's left hand.
Great response by the Valkyries. There's an ace serve for Vanderweide. And you have to imagine there should be a timeout coming for Atlanta.
Called it. Atlanta called a timeout. Smart move. So funny the way that this set has started. We went on a four-point run and then flipped it. Another 4-point run. It starts with the service pressure. I said it before, but the Valkyries amped up their service pressure, which is exactly what they needed to do. And now the vibe is on their heels.
And it's Lindsay Vanderweide, who hasn't played a lot, who has been that added ingredient here for Orlando offensively in this fifth set. She got a couple of decent swings off in the fourth as well, but each of these teams has really had to dig into that bench and allow some of these players who haven't played as much to show why they're in this league to begin with.
And what's so cool about this league is the players that are lining the bench are All-Americans, they're national champions, They've played overseas internationally for so many years, so the bench is as talented as they come, and that's why it's so much fun to have all of this depth, to be able to pull into your bench when you need it.
4-all, set 5. In Atlanta, it wasn't a very long conversation. They are already back out on the floor while Orlando is still coming out of the huddle. Mentioned Atlanta, you got to feel like you got to have it. And if you're Orlando, if you're going to have a special year, which it's already been in so many ways, you got to find ways to win matches in different ways. They haven't been tested like this in the better part of, frankly, a month and a half. And the last time they played a 5-setter, they fell to Grand Rapids.
Exactly, and now they're on a 7-match win streak. The past 3 have been sweeps. So you're right, they have been tested. Good timeout, ice the server, moving on. It's really funny how often and successful coaches are in icing the server when they call the timeout.
The break of the momentum proves important for Atlanta as Vicini goes back to serve. Courtney Schwann off the block and down.
Courtney Schwann is consistent. She is clutch. Great set by Champu to get her body around it, square her hips to the antenna. And then Courtney Schwann with that off-speed shot gets defenses in a whole lot of trouble because they're not as used to seeing it as often.
5-all, Foster to serve. It's a good one. Handled well, though, by the Vibe. Recycled off the block. And Edmond just blew the block up, obliterated it out of play.
Good covering by Morgan Hentz. The coverage aspect of the game is very important. Sometimes it's overlooked, but it's extremely important, and that's what caused them the opportunity to get that point.
16 digs for Morgan Hens. Abercrombie snuck it right inside the block. It wasn't sealed perfectly, and there was just enough daylight for number 6 in blue.
It looked like the block was on their way down when that ball contacted their platform.
6-all. Just out of play. Bolt 6 will show it to you.
The last time these two teams played, they targeted Leah Edmond. The Valkyries targeted Leah Edmond, and they were successful. But now Leah Edmond is passing dimes and taking care of the ball offensively.
Typically in those jousts, it's the setter who usually wins them. They get to the ball second. That time that ball got shoved down before Shampoo could even really get a hand on it.
Absolutely. She was on the run. She was trying to get her feet to the ball. It's really difficult to be the one to touch it last when you're scrambling so hard to get there. Also, the height disparity is pretty big there between Timmer and Shampoo.
These teams will switch sides, as you might have seen already at the midway point here of set 5. Atlanta leading it 8-6 over Orlando. Back underway here in Orlando, and that service error by Leah Edmond tightens things up once again. It's a 1-point fifth set. The Vibe on the road, looking to complete a reverse sweep, lead by 1 at the midway point of a 5th and final set. Taylor Head now checking in for Atlanta in this set, and this time Orlando figures out the block. The hand sequencing hadn't been quite right. They were getting tooled a lot. This time, no doubt.
And one of the keys to blocking when you're playing a team that has such a fast arm swing, when you're playing a player like Corey Lewis, is you have to get your hands above the net quickly. You've got to get them up and press fast. Kaz Brown's doing that well.
Oh, good pick up there by Abercrombie. Vanderweide off the top of the block. Timmer. Good twitch once again by Abercrombie. Nice over the head dig there by Taylor Head. Timmer swats it out. Monterey bats it over. Vanderweide dug once again by Brittany Abercrombie, showing out on defense 3 times, and that was touched. No, it wasn't touched. The net was touched. A net violation called by Landry Homsher. I thought initially it was going to be a block touch of some sort. Boy, what a big miscue there by Atlanta. Brian Doyon wants to talk about it. I don't know what's going on now. It looks like Landry Homsher just putting both of his thumbs up in the air, which would be the signal to replay the point.
Yes.
That replay was important for Merritt Beeson and the Vibe. Beeson put that ball down in a hurry. We're knotted up at 9. Vanderweide. Head ranges back. Timmer off speed. The Valks were ready. Timmer off the block, played up by Schwann. Out of the middle, that's Brown, dug by Beeson. Off the D-ball, Abercrombie.
Brittany Abercrombie is almost unstoppable. She hits that D-ball with as much confidence as she does in the front row, driving her momentum, driving her body forward and through the ball. And then she's so wristy. She can attack that ball from any area of the court and then pinpoint where she wants to go because of all that range and all that wrist.
After trailing 4-0 in the fifth, Orlando leads 10-9. Abby Hansen will check into the front row and relieve Natalie Foster. Timmer, dug by Brown. Look at the effort plays that Orlando is making on defense in the fifth. Timmer picked up by Abercrombie. Vander Weide on the attack. Beeson off the D-ball. Abercrombie launches from the back. Abby Hansen, the UCF alumna in her home gym, puts the Valks up by 2.
This is an all-out battle. This is a war. The defense on both sides of the net has been incredible. And Abby Hansen with that heads-up play, taking advantage of that ball, going right to her shoulder. Also, I got to shout out Kaz Brown, the libero. Middle blocker for the Valkyries in left back, making an incredible dig.
Kaz Brown, the libero, is a heck of a statement. Love that.
She should be proud of that dig. I mean, to be that tall and then to get that low and scoop up that ball is not easy.
In moments like this, those moments are always crowd pleasers. But it could be early in a match. If you've got a middle and left back who can make a play like that, that's always going to get the bench fired up.
The bench loves plays like that, and so does this crowd. This arena has a wonderful showing here tonight. So many young girls playing in the Sunshine Classic Volleyball Tournament in Orlando have come out to support the Valkyries. There are signs out the wazoo. I mean, it is an absolute blast in here, and this is some of the best volleyball I've seen this season.
It was Atlanta who called the timeout, and they didn't talk long. Orlando's still in the huddle, and the Vibe are already on the floor. Orlando won sets 1 and 2. Atlanta won sets 3 and 4. And it was the Vibe who got out to a 4-0 lead in this set. But it's the Valkyries who find themselves up by 2, closing in on perhaps a 5-set win. Merritt Beeson has other ideas, though, working to perfection out of the back row.
Good decision by Marley Monterey. Merritt Beeson has been on in these past couple of sets, running her in the back row. She's very efficient, and then they're moving that set along that back row line to kind of switch up the block. 1-point fifth.
Vander Weide with one hand, Monterey digs it out. That is tight. Abercrombie, a teardrop.
And that was almost like a communication error on the Vibe side. There was a couple girls around the ball. Merritt Beeson there, but just not laying out. I think the block thinking that Beeson was going to get it. Morgan Hens waiting for the block to see what they were going to do. So just a little communication error.
Beeson blows up the block. That is a tool, that is a kill. And Madison, to win a match like this, you have got to show a ton of heart and a ton of grit. It is a shame that one of these two teams, after all the fighting they have done, after all the battling and scratching and clawing they have done, is going to have to lose.
And it sounds so cliche, but both of these teams should be so proud of the way that they fought.
Vander Weide, the defense came in from that back corner, smart to put it where there was a wide opening.
Lindsay Vander Weide has stepped up big when called upon. Coach Amy Pauley subbed out Adora Anai. Lindsay Vander Weide took her spot and has been phenomenal.
7 kills now for Lindsay Vander Weide off the bench. And look at Merritt Beeson. Beeson has done literally everything she can offensively to keep Atlanta within touch after Orlando has flipped the momentum. She has led the charge for the Vibe here over the last handful of points.
15 kills, tying with Pia Timmer, 15 kills. Leah Edmond, 14 kills. They're spreading out the ball well, but you're right. Mara Beeson has put her full display of offensive weapons on display.
Aiko Jones back in as a serve sub here for Atlanta. Abby Hansen dug by Timmer. Abercrombie dug by Timmer. And we got a meet and greet with Leah Edmond. No way we're going to get in the way of her trying to make a play like that. But alas, it is match point for the Valks.
That is how hard Leah Edmond goes. Almost crawling up onto the table. I so respect her work ethic.
And back to work offensively, and that is a worthy fist pump there for Edmond.
Leah Edmond is wired differently. She's a workhorse. She's so powerful. She swings so aggressively. She has all of the intangibles. I could go on and on about Leah Edmond, but she puts this team on her back game in and game out. This is a must-have point.
And Orlando is a side out away. Match point number 2. Schwann. And Orlando find the fight and find a way. The vibes are high in Central Florida tonight.
And with that win, the Orlando Valkyries win streak moves to 8, therefore setting a PVF record. This is a historic night for the Orlando Valkyries.
A historic night in Madison, dare I say, an instant classic.
It was some of the best volleyball I have seen in a very long time. I mean, the rallies were so long. We almost saw a reverse sweep. The drama was there. That was an absolute blast.
If Atlanta plays this style of volleyball the rest of the season, we're going to be hearing from Atlanta often.
Most definitely. Now the vibe goes 6 to 8, 6 wins to 8 losses. They are still in contention for the playoffs. They displayed, I think, their true potential tonight, which is greatness.
And for Orlando, now 10-4, they've exceeded last year's win total by 2 tonight, and they're at the halfway point. They get their next 3 matches at home. And Madison, I mentioned it, if you're going to have a special year, you've got to win matches in a variety of ways. This was a special one tonight.
It most definitely was. In the past 3 matches, it had been sweeps, but tonight here they were pressed. They had to fight. Their backs were against the wall. And so, if anything, that's more impressive than the sweeps even.
It's hard to find the words sometimes when you watch sport as compelling as what we saw tonight. Those smiles are wide, and they should be for Orlando. Hugs all around for the Valkyries. And what a run. You mentioned it, Madison. History in Central Florida tonight with 8 straight wins. Nobody in the history of the Pro Volleyball Federation can lay claim to that. And wow, when you think about the dynamic of what the Valkyries had to do tonight, what impressed you most?
I think their ability to grin and bear it. They lost set 3 and set 4. It would be very easy to let the vibe take set 5, to not fight back. But their grit that they displayed, their consistency in that 5th set, it was an all-around incredible performance. They have a lot to be proud of, and now they set a PVF record. How cool is that?
And some of the names we talked about coming into tonight for Orlando, yes, Abercrombie was big. Yes, Foster had some huge moments. But how about Lindsay Vanderweide coming off the bench in sets 4 and 5? And yeah, the Valks ran out of time in set 4, but she gave them a boost, and she was incredible in the 5th set.
She absolutely was. She got an ace, 7 kills, a handful of digs. She was targeted on serve receive a little bit, but she controlled the ball well. At the end of the match, we usually pick an MVP and most valuable Valkyrie, and Lindsay Vanderweide is definitely at the top of that list.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of options. Vanderweide, to your point, certainly deservedly so at the top of the list. Last thought for me, Madison, I could not be more excited to come back here to Edition Financial Arena in a week's time. The next 3 matches the Valks play will be here at Ad 5. For Madison Fitzpatrick, for our entire crew on hand, what a match. Orlando guts out a win over the Atlanta Vibe to improve to 10-4. Sean Davison saying so long. Good night from Central Florida, everybody. What a fun one we had in store for us this evening.